morning, friends and family. This is Jody. I'm gonna do a quick little walk through the garden. It's starting to look a little rough. It is the end of August, and so of course I'm pulling a lot of things out and getting ready to plant new things. So we'll kind of go through it. I guess Blue's gonna go with us. So I pulled everything off this trellis. This was a Kajari melon that was very prolific, but it was really getting infested with aphids, black aphids. So I just tore that down. I've also torn out all the basil over here, and over here I've got everything out. I will be putting cabbage in here. I've done cabbage in here multiple times, and it's nice because I can net it. So so this netting is attached on one side, and then on the other side it's not, so I just pull it over and then hold it down with rocks, and obviously this A-frame is going to have to go. So that will be cabbage for the fall. In here I think I'm going to go ahead and plant pole beans against this trellis because I still have enough time to get pretty good harvest of pole beans. And I'm pulling some of these flowers out. They're just overgrown, but the funny thing is there's a million little sprouts on the bottom. Sweet potatoes are doing really good. They won't be harvested for quite a while. And these are cucumbers, and I was hoping to get another nice round of cucumbers for more pickles because we're a bunch of pickle eaters, so we go through a lot of pickles. I'm fighting aphids. I've been just spraying them off with water, but I have to do it a couple times a day in order to keep up with it. And these, I'm getting ready to pull the mesh off this. They're getting big enough, but I don't do it until it's big enough that chickens aren't going to tear them up. I've been working on starting to get the loofah pulled off because it just grows so fast. It's so prolific. And I've got some tomatoes in here I've cleaned up, and we'll see if we get some fall harvest out of tomatoes, which last year fall tomatoes were way better than spring tomatoes. And then over here I've pulled all the flowers out. I've got beans in here that have been in here for a long time, but summertime it gets too hot and they just don't set fruit. I mean, they bloom, but I think it's too hot and the pollen dries up. So I've got a lot of loofahs, and I will probably harvest some of these and peel them and shake seeds out. And I also have a nice big, let me see if I can get this, a big old orb weaver, and I'm not sure if you can see her, but she's very pretty. There she is. She's big. She doesn't bother us, so I just walk underneath her, and I don't worry about it too much. So I've got a lot of cleanup to do in these aisles. Pulled out basil in here to give the peppers and the tomatoes some space and see if we get some peppers and tomatoes. So today I'm going to harvest a whole bunch of jalapenos and get them diced up and parboiled and frozen. I've got carrots in here, and I've been out here, oh my goodness, every like 5 times a day trying to keep this moist so my carrots will sprout. And then there's my potato patch, which I'm going to cover. We're going to have a little bit of rain the next couple days, so I'll be covering that so that it doesn't get soaked. Over here is the okra, and Pete cut it way down, but it's kind of coming back. My understanding is that we'll have okra pods up until the freeze. We're letting a few of them get really big so that we'll save seeds. So actually probably more than we planned. So I probably need to get out here and harvest. And then I've got a lot of bell peppers and more jalapenos and chichitos. In here I've got green onions planted. So the screen is just on this to keep the chickens out of it because they'll scratch it all up. And I want the onions to have a chance. And it's just kind of, things are growing. It doesn't look beautiful by any means, but it is what it is. Butternut squash is actually doing good. And cantaloupe is doing good. I've got quite a few cantaloupes. I've harvested 3 or 4 so far. And there's probably 7 or 8 on it. So we'll have cantaloupe here through the next probably month. So the high tunnel is kind of in between overgrown and torn out. I've still got a lot of work to do on my black brandywines. I haven't kind of decided what to do about those. These are some tomatoes I planted in here from suckers. And I mean, they're growing, but they're just growing slow, and I don't know what that's about, I might need to fertilize. Pete refilled beds. I mean, he topped up beds. So I've got beds that are ready to plant. San Marzanos, I've got a lot of pruning to do in here today, so I'm gonna work on that today. And these are various tomatoes that I kind of don't want to take them all the way down. I don't want to pull them out, but I got to do something so that they're not quite so unruly. And the banana is just going crazy. I just can't get over how many leaves it's put out. Just in the last month, it's like, man, it seems like it's every day there's a new leaf. So I'm still really enjoying the paprikas. I love how bright they are. They're so pretty. And I'm just going along and harvesting them as they get ripe and drying them and just saving it up. So I'll end up with quite a bit of paprika, I hope. I hope enough at least for a year. And other than that, things are just kind of chugging along. Not a lot going on. I've got seeds started. I've grown shallots from seed this year. I'm going to try it because we love shallots, and you can see they are sprouting. But mostly just kind of in that in-between place where we just don't, we haven't planted a lot of fall stuff, and I'm just still pulling out the spring and summer stuff. So that's kind of what's going on here. Not a lot. We're kind of in that transition. A lot of things pulled out, not much planted for the fall, but we're starting. So that always feels good. So hope everybody has a lovely day, and love y'all. Talk to you soon.